Now available on Blu-ray from 88 Films is the 1991 Hong Kong action comedy. The title here is Hard-Boiled 2, The Last Blood. The original title was 12 Hours of Terror, which makes a little bit more sense considering this has nothing whatsoever to do with Hard-Boiled. It was actually made and released before Hard-Boiled even came out. But apparently, I learned in the extras, there's a Frank Jing commentary. Frank Jing, formerly of Tsang Video, Hong Kong film expert. He talks about this, and he said, it's Frank Jing and John Charles. It doesn't list it on the package, but John Charles, who used to write for Video Watchdog magazine and has done a lot of writing on Hong Kong films himself. It's a duo audio commentary, and they talk about the fact that this was released in England on video at some point as Hard-Boiled 2, The Last Blood. The original export title was The Last Blood, and because because 88 Films is a UK company, the thought is maybe they kept that title on there, figuring that their UK audience would know it as Hard-Boiled 2, which, again, it has nothing to do whatsoever with Hard-Boiled, other than that part of it takes place in a hospital. The story here goes a little something like this. Directed by Jing, who directed a lot of the Stephen Chow movies and is known for really kind of outrageous and kind of crude comedy. This stars Alan Tam, who was a Hong Kong pop star and co-star of Jackie Chan's Armor of God. He plays a cop who is trying to foil a Japanese Red Army terrorist group plot to kill the Dalai Lama. Now, he's not called the Dalai Lama in the film. He's called the Daka Lama, D-A-K-A. But it's the Dalai Lama. And these bad guys are trying to kill him, and we have a parallel story of Andy Lau, who is in a million Hong Kong films. I think he may still be making films in Hong Kong. He and his girlfriend are on vacation. This movie is set in Singapore. The Daka Lama, seems weird to say that, but we'll go with it. The Daka Lama arrives in Singapore and is ambushed by a group of women looking like pink-clad flight attendants who suddenly bust out Uzis and martial arts, and it's totally bonkers and insane. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. Daka Lama gets shot. Andy Lau's girlfriend in the same space also gets shot. They both go to the hospital. Will they survive, and what will be left of them? Sorry, I'm down with the sickness a little bit. And it turns out that they both have a very rare blood type, type P. It turns out that there are only 3 people in Singapore with that blood type, so it's a race. The race is on to find these people, to get them to donate blood to save the life via transfusion of the Daka Lama. Andy Lau is like, well, you're going to give all the blood to him and let my girlfriend die. F that. He breaks out of this hospital where the police are heavily surrounding everything, and he's on a race to find the people with the blood type, as are the police, as are the Japanese Red Army terrorists who want to kill those people before they can be found so that the Daka Lama dies. So therein lies the multi-point struggle. Also involved is Eric Tsang, who is a well-known comedic actor in Hong Kong, though he also did pretty good drama. He's in at least the first Infernal Affairs movie, and he's great. I always think of him as the Hong Kong Lou Costello, because he's a little rotund, a little short, a little high-pitched voice, but just always funny and great. He is the guy they're all trying to find. And it's a whole lot of back and forth and a lot of action. The action is the kind of action where you watch it and you're like, there's no way somebody didn't get hurt doing this. You even see people getting hurt on camera. You see people land after doing a motorcycle flip through the air behind an explosion. You're like, there's no way the person walked away from that without a limp. And very brutal. Some of the violence is very brutal. People getting killed that you'd think, there's no way that, child priest in a wheelchair is going to get shot. Think again. Anybody can get it at any time in this movie, which ups the stakes greatly. It's very funny. The humor can be very crude at times, which was the way of Jing and kind of the way of Hong Kong films of this era. So yes, Eric Tsang's character is called Fatty, and it seemed like that was a thing for decades in Hong Kong, where any heavyset character was just named Fatty. And there are AIDS jokes, and it's not a lot of that, but just be prepared that that's in there. And you kind of roll your eyes and say, well, that was a time and place now, wasn't it? But it's very funny. The action is astounding. It's rewind and watch again kind of action. It's the kind of action that makes me yelp and be like, what? Did I just see that? Wow, that was amazing. And because let's take a jump to the left and talk about modern action's terrible for the most part. Shaky camera too close, cut too fast. These are the movies that set my standards cinematically for what action should be. you can see what's going on. They hold a shot, they frame a shot, they let the action unfold, they let you be impressed, and it's all done, it's all practical, it's all real, and it's astounding. So worth it for the action alone, but the movie moves right along, it's funny, and it's just, I really like this. This is a film I had not heard of, and I was a big fan of the Hong Kong films as they were coming out, and right after when we were scooping them up everywhere we could in Chinatowns and HK Flicks and everywhere here and there, and for whatever reason, this one just never came to me. So let's talk about the packaging, shall we? Oh yeah, and the transfer is good. You can watch it dubbed in English, or you can watch it in the original Cantonese or Mandarin. I'll tell you in a second. Language with subtitles, which is how I did it, and looks good. These movies didn't always look so great on video, but this one does. So you get a nice new, nice cover, matte finish. I like to point that out for some reason for those of you who like to touch things, and new artwork for this, which looks great. And the back looks a little something like that, and it's a slipcase which slips off to reveal the same artwork underneath and the same content on the back, and the telltale reflection of the ring light that I'm using right now. You open it up, you get different artwork on the disc. You pop the disc out, you get, if you can see through there, the original Hong Kong poster art, and a different background too. And then you have a poster included, which these are great. 88 does such a good job with these. It's just, I feel so spoiled from what I used to get for Hong Kong releases. So it's a mini poster that folds out to show you the new artwork, and if you flip it over, it's a mini poster of the original artwork. So that's very cool. And you fool, what are the extras? You said you'd talk about them and you didn't. I'm getting to that. 1080p Blu-ray presentation in 185 to 1 aspect ratio, 2.0 Cantonese mono with English subtitles and optional SDH. That's subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, which they describe things like sound of door opening, things like that you normally wouldn't subtitle. 2.0 English mono, audio commentary with Hong Kong film expert Frank Jing and John Charles, who's not on here. English trailer and Hong Kong trailer, they each run, one English trailer is about 3 minutes, the Hong Kong is about 4, and they're different trailers, just edited differently. You get a stills gallery that's 37 images of mostly on-set production photos. This is region A and B, which means it will work in America and it will work in England. And it is 1991, as I said, 94 minutes, Cantonese and English subtitles, and that is that. That is The Last Blood, aka Hard-Boiled 2, The Last Blood, aka 12 Hours of Terror. I recommend it pretty highly. It's a heck of a lot of fun, especially for a movie that you might not have heard of. And those are the most fun because usually you go in without much in the way of expectations. I did not expect this to be as slam bang as it was, so this is one I will definitely be watching again in the future. Available now on Blu-ray from 88 Films.